radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's Jacob Albrecht and Brandon Zenner in today for Tommy. Glad to have Brandon in. Glad to have Brandon a part of the Sports Daily family. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, man?
Not much. You know, sometimes we're watching maybe Thursday night football. Maybe it's another football game, and you can't tell that they're excited to be there, even when it's a big moment. Today's a big moment. We're excited to be here, though.
We're excited to be here. We got all kinds of stuff for you coming up today. So here's what we'll get everything set up here briefly. The IHOP hotline, by the way, open the entire first hour. So you can get in touch with the program the good old-fashioned way at 869-1240. IHOP, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, and reward offers for loyalty members. We are going to give away some HTO on the show today as well. We will get you to that Thursday night football game, which was fantastic last night. We will get into the college football weekend, CFP implications, what's on the line. We're going to make some picks in hour number 2. TJ, Paul, I got to get you the guys those picks. I haven't done that yet, as I'm saying that out loud. So I'll get them the picks, but we're going to make those picks here in hour number 2. We've got 6 games, 3 college, 3 pro, as we always do. That'll come up in hour number 2 as well. We'll get you ready for college basketball this weekend. All kinds of fun stuff. So let's dig in, Brandon. Green Bay, Detroit last night. Detroit gets the win by 3. Great game. It was all Lions in the first half. The Packers kind of making a furious comeback, but it was the Lions in the end. Game-winning field goal. And it was a game-winning field goal, Brandon, and that's what everyone's talking about because Dan Campbell does Dan Campbell things, and he ain't scared of nobody. And he makes a decision that the nerds hate. But you know what? They won the football game, and here we go.
I mean, when you have an identity as a team like you do, the Lions, where they can do so many different things, whether that's running the ball, controlling the clock like they did last night. I mean, you look, Jordan Love only had 20 pass attempts. That's good. The Packers didn't really get to even have the ball that much. And then the Lions, 4 for 5 on 4th downs. This is Dan Campbell football, and he's going to stick to it. He's going to live and die by it. It paid off last night. There's going to be a time probably late in the season where that doesn't pay off. But as long as he keeps working, keep playing your brand of football because you're sitting here, you're trying to make a statement. We're in the final month of the season. How I felt in the moment about it, I'm not really sure. I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have kicked the field goal. But that defense for Detroit, they're banged up. They were going to have some big plays, especially late. Can you blame them? But hey, you got a brand of football. Stick to it.
Okay, so 43 seconds was the situation here if you didn't see it. So what happened is the Lions were short of a first down. So it was 4th and probably less than 1, honestly. We'll call it 4th and 1. 43 seconds left. Green Bay does not have any timeouts. Detroit takes one. The decision is, and it's not a long field goal at this point, but the decision, by most everybody is kick that field goal. But if you do that, Green Bay will get the ball back with about 40 seconds and no timeouts. Okay, you would have gone up 3 like you did. Now, Dan Campbell is notorious for going for it on 4th down. This is an interesting discussion because analytics bros love that, right? They love coaches that will go for it on 4th down. Football traditionalists don't like it, although I think they're coming around to it, but not in that situation, right? Don't do it there. Take your points. You've got the lead. They've only got, 40 seconds. What's the worst that can happen, right? They can come down and tie it. I would tell you this, though. and I think it's to your point, right? Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, Dan Campbell likes to go for it there. So I almost look at it in the worst case scenario, and I like the decision. I like the decision for a couple of reasons. One, you're looking at probably the best offensive line in football. You're looking at 2 running backs there who are at the top of their game right now, and it's a trust factor. And look, I get it. Jared Goff got stepped on. The worst, they almost fumbled the ball and all these things, and then they wouldn't have got their field goal, and Green Bay would have had the ball in good position. The only part of it I didn't like is that you kind of give Green Bay a head start, but honestly, that's about where they're going to start with a touchback anyway. So I get it. You're trusting your offensive line. You're trusting the strength of this team to go out and get you a yard. Would anybody have questioned that decision if Philadelphia would have lined up Brandon and done that with Jalen Hurts on a tush push?
No, exactly. And we sit here and talk about how it's what Dan Campbell likes to do, but I think it goes even beyond that. I think it's what these players like to do. They've bought into Dan Campbell and his personality, and absolutely not. If it was any other situation, as you said, the Jalen Hurts tush push, people would probably be raving about how great the play is, and it was another example of the greatness of that play for Philadelphia. But when you look at Detroit, I mean, when you have Jahmyr Gibbs and you have that offensive line and you have David Montgomery, all these pieces, I mean, they ran the ball almost 40 times last night just because that's what Detroit football is. Which, I mean, we didn't say that until the last couple of years now, but I mean, that's their identity. Going forward on 4th down, being aggressive. We're going to take the game from you. We're not going to give you a chance. And that's what they did last night.
And you're also trusting your defense in the same way, because if you don't get it, you need them to make a stop, right? And I get it. If you don't convert, then you don't have the points, and your worst case is losing the game. Whereas if you just take the field goal, your worst case becomes overtime. I do understand that. The Lions are 11-1 in that spot. The hell do they have to lose, right? Who cares? Go out and force the issue. Go out and make something happen. I don't have any issue with it. If they hadn't gotten it, and a worst case scenario, Green Bay goes and scores, okay. Does that really impact the Lions season? Because I don't think it does very much. Maybe down the road it cost them home field something. I think with when you consider all of it, it's their identity to do that. And I think that's a part of it. They're not playing scared. They're not doing any of that. They're the better team. This is what they do. And they went out and they forced the play. They made the issue, and I like it. I do like it. Do I like it for every team? The problem with it is you can't have it both ways, right? Because Brandon Staley was supposed to be this analytics savant, right? And if you ever watched him coach a game, you're like, dude, you got no clue here, like no feel for things. The reason I really like Dan Campbell is he's this blend of all of it. Is there anybody that wouldn't look at Dan Campbell and say, yeah, that's an old school football guy? He's an old school football guy that understands the analytics and when to use them. Some of these coaches come in and they just like everything. It's all analytics. No, like you've got to have a feel for things, and you've got to understand we are the Lions. This is what we do. This is literally what we do. If we can't go get that 4th and 1, then we've got a big problem. Let's go make a play. And they went and they made a play. And I don't have any issue with it. And if they lost, I wouldn't have any issue with it. I don't know if I have the kind of, stones to make that call if I'm the coach, but Dan Campbell does. And that's a part of the reason why it's been so successful there. I mean, like every coach is different. Maybe there are coaches that don't want to be aggressive there. But would you be stunned if the Chiefs did something like that? Because I wouldn't, right? I think that would be very much within their DNA. There are a lot of teams that would try to take it away, because the way the Packers were going on offense in the second half, 40 seconds, when you get to start at the 30, you need to gain in 40 seconds, and I get it, no timeouts, but that's at least 2 plays over the middle. You need to gain what at that point? 20, and then you need to gain 40 yards with a touchback. I mean, come on. Like, we see teams do that all the time in that situation, because defenses can't afford to let them go over the top on them. And so they have to give up those big plays. Mahomes has made a Hall of Fame career on doing that very thing. So I get it. I don't mind the decision at all. I love taking the ball away from the other team. It's sort of like the old, you've got the lead late Patrick Mahomes has done this. We've seen other players, Brandon, like go down at the 2-yard line and run that clock instead of going into the end zone to score a touchdown. It's frustrating if you play like fantasy football or you're betting or anything like that, but it's the right thing to do. It makes perfect sense. This wasn't all that different than that.
And we have seen the Chiefs do this. I mean, in big situations. Think back a couple of years ago, the Chad Henne, he goes and converts something on 4th and 1 in a
That's right.
playoff
I
game.
forgot about that one. Yep.
Just in the Super Bowl, they had to convert 4th downs. Just this most recent year, you have an identity with the Chiefs. We have Patrick Mahomes. We know he can get out of the pocket. He can scramble with the best of them. Let his legs go to work and let him make a decision. And with the Lions, it's just we have this aggressive nature, and that our whole team lives and breathes aggressiveness from the offensive line to how aggressive they play on defense, sometimes to a fault, with how aggressive they run the ball, how aggressive they throw the ball. And yeah, luckily for them, it worked out last night. We talked about what do they have to lose? Well, if the Lions lose that game last night, they're 11-2, and they have a tiebreaker over the Minnesota Vikings atop the division, which is just crazy with how good the division is. And then they're only 1 game ahead of the Packers going into the final 4 games of the season. So they could have lost the division and possibly fallen.
Lost that tiebreaker to the Packers.
We're talking about maybe the 6th seed coming away with just 3 or 4 losses in this division now. So a lot of the line and that play last night very well could be the difference between the NFC running through Detroit in January indoors and possibly having to go to, say, a Green Bay.
And that's probably unfair for me because we know how Jared Goff plays in a dome, right, versus outside. And so, yeah, maybe there was too much to risk, but I just don't mind it at all, because if I'm thinking about like teams across football and 4th and 1, who is the most equipped to go get that when you've got to have it? Of the short list, the Lions would be there, right? The Lions, Philadelphia, Buffalo, because they have Josh Allen. I mean, maybe Baltimore because they have Derrick Henry, but we see Henry get stopped on those. I mean, it's maybe those 3 the most. It's certainly not the Chiefs. So that's what they do. That's them. That's who they are, and that's why it's okay to go for it. If that's let's see, if that's Atlanta, let's say that's Atlanta in that situation, kind of fringy, the identity is certainly not hard-nosed football and those things. The circumstance, yeah, I'd probably kick the field goal, right? I'd probably go ahead and kick the field goal there. And then you take your chances on defense, but not the Lions. And that's the nuance I mean. Like, that's the nuance I'm talking about. Like, you have to know who you are. JB asks, is Dan Campbell, if he coaches for a very long time, maybe something like the next Andy Reid? I get what you mean, JB, because Andy Reid is an old football guy, right? Like he's such a brilliant offensive mind and does all the things that he does. But at the end of the day, yeah, he's an old jock, just like Dan Campbell's an old jock. But Dan Campbell's a brilliant offensive mind too. He played on offense, which probably surprises people. But yeah, he was an offensive player, and some of the stuff they do with their run game and all the things that they do is really high level stuff. So yeah, I mean, sure. I think that the biggest part of that comparison would be players appear to love playing for Dan Campbell like they love playing for Andy Reid.
And Jacob, funny enough, you bring up, if it was the Falcons, think back to week 3, Kansas City at the Falcons. They did that exact same thing. 4th and 5 from the 6 with 5 minutes left in the game, down 5 only. Atlanta goes for it, and it's an incompletion to Drake London. And, of course, the Falcons got the ball back and failed on another 4th down conversion. I mean, if you kick that first field goal, you're only down 2. You kick that second field goal, you win the game. And that's not Atlanta's bread and butter. It is in the case of Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and I don't ever have a problem with being aggressive, but there are spots to be aggressive. And I think that's where the critics came out against Dan Campbell, is like, that's not the spot to be aggressive. But again, nuance. That's absolutely the spot for the Lions to be aggressive. Not every team. Like the Chiefs, for instance, in that exact same scenario this year, I would not be nearly as comfortable. They have a lot of options in short yardage with those tight ends and everything that they do. But I don't, that would be a tougher call. I'd be okay if they did it, but I wouldn't say that's their identity by any means. And again, just think about Philadelphia and think about that being the tush push. We'd all say they should go for it, right? Because we know their rate of conversion on that is nearly flawless. The Lions' rate of conversion on 4th and 1 was outstanding last night. They did it. How many times did they go for it on 4th down? Like 5, 6? It was, it's what they do. So shouldn't surprise anybody, but the Lions come up with a big win. The Packers have got to be sick, but what a good division that's turning out to be. We're going to pick the other really good team in that division, Brandon's Minnesota Vikings, a little later in the show. I think their game against Atlanta is interesting for a lot of reasons this weekend, but fun Thursday night football game. Didn't quite get there with the money. It wasn't quite enough offense, I don't think. I was pretty close on some stuff. Jaden Reed let me down. Amon-Ra didn't quite get there. Did you make any money last night?
It didn't appear so, but we had fun watching football, and that's what it's about. We got a big weekend coming up. There was a lot of potential for it, but I mean, when you have Tim Patrick catching 2 touchdowns and Amon-Ra going under and Jaden Reed having a goose egg, I mean,
everybody got screwed. Look, we say it all the time on this show. Just bet enough that you don't care about, and then it just makes it fun. Like the moment that I'm like angry, like legitimately angry, and not just like bad beat angry, that's when I'll stop. Like that's when it's going to be like, nope, I'm done with that. No, it's fun. It's a blast, and hopefully somebody made some money last night. Neither of us did. I know TJ, who picked the Packers yesterday, did not because he was on the Packers side of that. But the Lions get it done. Hold serve at home. Their growth now is getting to a point where it's looking like things may run through Detroit, although don't look now. Detroit Buffalo, is that next week? I think it is. Oh, come on now.
Talk about game of the year with Chiefs. That might be it.
No, that's game of the year so far, for sure. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Speaking of the Chiefs, let's get all caught up on the practice reports. What do we think about DJ Humphries' possibility to play this week? It sounds like that's at least possible. Is it likely? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to get to with the Chiefs injury report. We're going to get to all of it when we return. It's Jacob Albrecht. It's Brandon Zenner. I want to say thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning here on KFH. We'll be right back.
.97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Pizza John's has been serving Derby since 1969.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back, everybody. On your way into work, want to keep listening to Sports Daily even after you park the car? With the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can. Just download the app, visit Odyssey.com, search for KFH. You can listen to the show as a podcast. I'd invite you to do that. We have a lot of people doing that. We've said this before, and we're very thankful and proud of this. We had like 10,000 people do that last month. So it is the way of things. We get that. If you're not in your car right now, just download the show. Listen to it that way. Listen to it on the Odyssey app. We always appreciate everybody that does that. Appreciate everybody that watches us as well. Facebook, YouTube, X, of course, on 12 News Connected, where you can see us right now. Thanks to those of you watching in those places, leaving your video comments. You can always reach out to us on social as well. On X, Austin, I asked a question with the show launch today. Is Dan Campbell crazy? Austin says yes, but he's a real football guy that we all need. And I would agree with that. The NFL needs guys like Dan Campbell, football guys. Mike Vrabel should be a head coach in this league. Mike Tomlin needs to be a coach in this league. We need football guys as well as mixed in with all the brains. And no offense to either side of that, but that's just call it like you see it here. It's fun to have Dan Campbell in the league. And we like having him there. And he's nuts. And he says crazy things. And he's emotional and raw. And we love it. And he goes for it in crazy situations. And it gives us something to talk about when we come on the radio in the morning. Brandon, this injury report for the Chiefs got a whole lot more interesting yesterday. We knew it was going to be interesting on the Chargers side of things. The one thing for all of what the Chiefs are dealing with right now, the one thing they are finally not really dealing with anymore is injuries, right? They're finally getting healthy. But yesterday, we see Jawan Taylor downgraded to limited. Now, there are a certain population of Chiefs fans that might be like, good, get him off the field. But the reality is they don't have anybody else to play there, or they'd already be there, right? Like, this is a little concerning. He's unlike the left side, he is at least probably better than replacement value, even though he's still not been very good. Now what do you do if you're the Chiefs? I would guess he'll play. I think we get just today is when Andy Reid gets up there for like 5 seconds, right? So we're going to get a little clarity on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll get up there, and today is after practice, so there will at least be some post question practicing, or some post practice questioning. Yeah, if Jawan Taylor can't go, I mean, we talk about the revolving door that has been just a human turnstile at left, whether it's been Wanye Morris or Kingsley Suamataia playing. If you're a Chiefs fan, you don't want to find out what's behind Jawan Taylor, because the possibility it's either one of those two or Ethan Driscoll, who I don't know if Ethan Driscoll has logged a regular season snap. If so, it's just a couple in a standstill. As much as Jawan Taylor is criticized for mostly just lining up in the backfield every single play, I mean, when he's not getting penalties, he's been okay. I don't know if you have the PFF numbers pulled up, but I mean, Jawan Taylor's been serviceable. We don't really talk about a whole lot of pressure coming off the right side.
Yeah,
it's been all about the left. But well, I mean, you don't want to find out what happens when you have more injuries. We've seen it all season with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think he's reliable. But your point's good. I bet you he'll play. I think he's going to be okay. So. That's weird to have him pop up like that. He's been available in his time as a Chief. And is he good enough? I don't think he is, but he's what they've got. And, the penalties and all these things are frustrating, and they really hurt the Chiefs this year, probably more than most. But it is what it is, and we don't even know what's going to happen at left tackle. The DJ Humphries piece, he's been practicing. He's been a full participant. I think Andy Reid just keeps playing coy with it. But if we're sitting here on Friday at 9:30 in the morning, Brandon, I would guess that DJ Humphries is your left tackle on Sunday. I think they're just going to run him out there.
All signs are pointing towards that. And let's not overlook just who the Chiefs are playing this week. You're playing a Chargers team that, they have Joey Bosa. And then opposite that, they have Khalil Mack, who just will not go away regardless of how old he gets. Khalil Mack is still one of the best defensive linemen in the entire NFL. And you just know that Jim Harbaugh and that defensive line are just going to go after, if it's a Jawan Taylor backup. They're already probably going to go after Jawan Taylor enough as it is, knowing the knee situation now. And if it's Ethan Driscoll, or if we have to watch Wanye or Kingsley on that right side for some reason, it's going to be a long Sunday night.
It's going to be, yeah. It will be anyway, unless they do what we've been saying they need to do, which is run the ball. And I know that the Chargers have been good against the run. I don't care. It's sort of like look, the Lions, what are the Lions going to do? Regardless of who they're playing, they're going to start with their run game. And that's what the Chiefs need to be doing. They need to be starting. You've got arguably the best interior offensive line in football, right? At least in the AFC, whatever you want to, top 3. And you've got now a healthy backfield with one of the more explosive running backs in football in Isaiah Pacheco, and a guy who can just absolutely take a beating at minimum in Kareem Hunt. You got both of those guys. And you got Carson Steele, who's can be effective in short yardage. You got all 3 of those guys. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care how many guys are in the box. Coach, which was kind of the reason he pointed to against the Raiders for the season low running back carries. I ran those numbers, Brandon. Take away all other positions, just straight running back carries. 14 in Oakland, in Vegas, against Vegas, I should say. Lowest of the season. And it's been getting progressively lower each of the last 3 weeks. It is not a coincidence that we have become the most concerned about them over the last 3 weeks. When the Chiefs run the ball, it helps everything. Helps Mahomes not take pressure, helps the defense not be on the field as much. Like, this has to be a game where they try to run the ball. It just has to.
Especially with how effective this Chargers offense has been. And that's kind of what the Chargers want to be too. They want to effectively run the ball. They want to keep their defense off the field. They just want to keep their offense on the field. And do we have faith that the Chiefs are actually going to run the ball, though? I'm not sure that I do. Now, it is helpful that Isaiah Pacheco, another week back, it's a long week. Remember, the Chiefs played on Friday, so they got a couple extra recovery days. That could be good for everybody, especially a guy who's coming off of a broken fibula. He showed burst. We saw the 34-yard run. I don't know why. Go give Pacheco. Make sure he gets double-digit carries this week. That's what I want to see out of him, especially as we talked about with that interior line. Trey Smith has been as good as any interior offensive lineman in all football this year. The numbers backed it up. Let him just pave the way to hopefully a big divisional win, one that can help you take a lot of stress off your season the rest of the way. Because, I mean, you lose this game, and the Chargers then are – I mean, you look, they'll be only 2 games back. You say 2 games in 4, but we see weird things happen in the NFL. Go and try to seal this division up this week, and let's start building towards some playoff football because the last.
Well, yeah, I don't even look. I don't care if they win. I really don't care if they win or lose. I just want to see them try to go impose their will with the ground game. If it costs them this game and we learn and understand, like they just can't do it. Okay. Like, I think it's worth the risk because it just like they showed us last year, they can go anywhere and win a playoff game. I don't think that changes. And I know they would then lose the tiebreaker with Buffalo and all of these things. But like, if you can't do that, like, it's just not the problem is, like, do any of us see the version of the Chiefs we've seen the last 3 weeks going and winning? What would it take if they get a bye? 3-4 postseason games to get there? The luck will run out at that point. Now, I've said I'm not going to pick against them because I do think they'll make the necessary adjustments. I do think they'll fix some of these things, and by the end of it, they'll be the last team standing. But the version we've seen lately, that's not going to be good enough when they play some of these teams in the postseason consecutively. Yeah, maybe they can they really beat 4 of them in a row when they all have a good pass rush, when they all have, effective passing games and all the things that the Chiefs have struggled with? I don't know how you could reasonably say that they will. So go fix it. But you got to try it. I mean, you got to just do it. You got to run the ball like you were running it. It's not like this is foreign. They literally made that their identity a year ago, and they literally did this earlier this year. They were running it 30 times a game with their running backs. And all of a sudden now it's just stopped. And nothing, based on what we've seen with the roster and everything else, there is no reason, like that has not been it's not like their hand has been forced to go throw it 46 times against the Raiders. Nothing caused that to happen other than what Andy Reid said. They put a lot of guys in the box. Well, guess what every team's going to do against you now if they see you. You don't think every team in football would love to see Patrick Mahomes throw it 50 times a game right now, knowing what the Chiefs have at left tackle? Of course they would. Of course they would.
Yeah, when you look, I mean, they've shown that they want to run the ball. I mean, Kareem Hunt, his carries this year, he has a 14-carry game, 27 carries twice this year, 2 other 20-plus carry games this season early before Pacheco got hurt, 15 carries against the Ravens, then 19 against the Bengals. That's just one guy. They didn't even get to either of those numbers as a team last week. They made running the ball their identity for the first 2 months. And then for some reason, yeah, it's just gone away. I have no idea why. I'm not sure many people do. It's that time of year where you start throwing the ball more, these turnovers are going to start popping up again. These penalties are going to start popping up. All the things that the Chiefs have talked about eliminating,
and
they can eliminate by running the ball.
You're going to get Mahomes killed. He cannot throw it 46 times in a game. So you were just talking Kareem Hunt's game log. So I'll pull this up again. Just running backs in total, because we know it's sort of a stable back there for the Chiefs. They've got several guys who can do it. But if you eliminate quarterback carries, wide receiver type carries, right, gimmicky stuff, here's what you've had if you go back, okay? You've had the Chiefs. They hit their stride with this again in the Bengals game, right? The Baltimore game, they didn't run the ball much. But in the Bengals game, here's what they did at running back. They carried it 26 times against the Bengals, 23 times against the Falcons, 21 times in the first game against the Chargers. Then against the Saints, they jumped up to 32 times. The Niners, 30. The Raiders, the first time, 23. The Buccaneers game was 31. And then we hit this stretch of the last 4 games. So they went in the Buccaneers game from 31 to 16 against Denver, a game they should have lost, right? And then against Buffalo, it was only 15, a game they did lose. And then it was only 18 against the Panthers, a game that should have been a blowout. And then and then 14 for a season low against the Raiders, another team they should be blowing out. So I don't know what changed with the Denver game, right? Because they really found their groove offensively through the run up through that Tampa Bay game, and then they just stopped. And I can't figure out why. And if it's simply because Denver started to put lots of guys in the box, and so, wouldn't you know it? 4 weeks in a row, teams do that. Why are they doing that? So that they can rush Patrick Mahomes if he's got to drop back that many times. I would do the same thing if I was a defensive coordinator. I would absolutely sell out to stop the run and make the Chiefs throw the ball, which is like backwards to the way we've thought for so many years on the Chiefs. But it's because you want the shots at Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and this is with a situation like this is where you really miss a Rashee Rice because of his route tree and what he's so good at. When you're playing a lot of guys in the box, a guy like Rashee Rice, he's gonna find those pockets, and that's what we saw early in the year. I mean, I think even at this point, he would still be the Chiefs' third leading receiver with his production. I think this is a week where you just want to see them go out and show what we saw from this offense the first 2 months of the season. Why is it when that Kareem Hunt came in, you decided to exploit him for a month, and then now you have two of these guys. We didn't see it at all last week when you knew Isaiah Pacheco was just around the corner. You started laying off of Kareem Hunt. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, if you want to keep Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa out of Patrick Mahomes' lap for 3.5 hours on Sunday night on national television, the best way to do that is turn to the run, turn to your workhorses, and let them show they were there. It's not that they were running the ball a lot; they were also doing it effectively early.
And I keep joking, Andy Reid's allergic to a second down run, but the thing that Isaiah Pacheco brings that Kareem Hunt did not have, to be fair, nor does Carson Steele, nor does Samaje. Pacheco can break one off, and he did it. What is that? His first carry in the game where he had the 34-yarder against the Raiders.
I think third or fourth, but
that's what he brings back now to the run game, and maybe they're just trying to ease him in. But now you've got that. Rick says to the point of these close games that shouldn't be close. He says it's pro football. The other team tries to. Blowouts are not common in the NFL. I get it. Blowouts are not common in the NFL, but the Chiefs have the 11th best point differential in football. They're average in point differential. That does matter. Okay. That does matter. It's not that, it's this trend of living dangerously. And again, they have the best quarterback, and you combine that with Kelsey and Andy Reid. They are best equipped to win close games in football. That is absolutely their number one trait. They're the thing that they're best at, and that matters. But a team like the Chiefs shouldn't have to live that way every week. That's what we're talking about. And yes, there aren't a lot of blowouts in football, but what is consistent in football? That good teams beat really bad teams by wide margins, right? We've seen that from the best teams in football this year. The really good teams, when they do get to play, there's not very many of them, but there's a handful of really bad teams. They beat them badly, and the Chiefs just haven't been able to do that this year. And so here we are. Again, everything to me can get better. Left tackle, maybe. We'll see with Humphreys. But all of the other things that have been issues for them over the past few weeks are things that I would anticipate get better. One of them's running the ball. One of them's rushing the passer. Now that they're getting a little healthier there, if they can do that, that would obviously help the secondary. I think those are all attainable things. The only thing that may not be attainable is getting better at left tackle. They're taking their about 5th attempt at that this week if Humphreys ends up starting, and we'll just have to see. I mean, they're out of options there. This is their best shot. I mean, it's hard to imagine that he will be worse than what they've had, no matter what kind of physical condition he's in, because it can't really get worse.
Can't get worse. No, and blowouts aren't common, but let's also remember Carolina, they were on the road leading by 11. I believe it was either late third or early fourth. They were in position to win a double-digit game. That's a blowout in the NFL. Run the ball, sow the ball away. The Raiders game, they were up by 13. Run the ball, sow the game away. They didn't do that. either time. Hopefully, Humphreys, there's reports that out of practice. I mean, I saw someone say that he was Willie Roaf-like. I don't anticipate that. That actually did make me laugh. I will give that aggregator a compliment there, but just don't be Wanya Morris or Kingsley Suamataia, right?
Correct.
Be late stage of the career Eric Fisher, where you're just reliable, you don't get talked about, and
be a bad game from Orlando Brown. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it just, can you just not get beat on every play? Can you just make the Chiefs not have to help on every single play? Like, that's honestly the baseline here. Like, that's it. That's the baseline.
These broadcasts are having cut-ups of Wanya Morris missed tackles by the end of the second drive.
I mean, just like whiff. Like, I can't believe I got to give Tommy credit, and it's easier when he's not here, I guess. But he called this out, and I sort of was like, we got to just trust the Chiefs and their evaluation of these players. They liked Wanya Morris. They went up and they got aggressive to draft Kingsley Suamataia. Tommy did not like that. He thought they needed depth there, and he was right. Like, it was certainly the wrong move. It was a big miss by the Chiefs, and now they're trying to scramble and do it again. My money is on that they will, because I think if they don't have that issue, we're having a totally different conversation about who the best team in football is right now. Right? They're getting healthy. Like, the Chiefs, like, people should be nervous on the opposition that the Chiefs haven't been healthy all year, and they're getting healthy now. They just have this glaring hole. All right, that game is Sunday night. We will pick that game. Top of the next hour, we'll have TJ and Paul in. Tommy will try to join us. If not, we'll get his picks. And we'll do all that. All right, let's come back. Let's get a brief look ahead at the CFP, the weekend, what we think will happen, can happen, anybody sneaking in, anybody falling out, any of that kind of stuff. And then we can take you through some of the other headlines and things in hour number 2 as well. Don't go away. We got Sports Daily here for you. It's Jake Ballbrock, Brandon Zenner, Max Power in producing for us this week. We appreciate it, Max. We'll be right back.
.97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Here's another great reason to...
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here. Let's give away some HTO. All you got to do to win today, a free iced tea, a free coffee drink, iced or hot, is text the keyword T, T-E-A, to the short code 20357. That should get you one of each of those. These will be available in East Wichita, West Wichita, or the Derby location. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. Again, that's T to the short code 20357. Good luck, everybody. Welcome back in. It's Jacob Albrock, Brandon Zenner on this Friday. We'll make some picks in our next segment, reacting to the Dan Campbell decision to put the game away last night and put it on the line there. He gets that done. A quick mention, Shocker Volleyball, Brandon Falls last night in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Nice to see them get back there for the first time since 2017. It was a really, really close first set. They took them, to extra in volleyball in the first one and then fell in the next two. SMU's really good, but good to see them back in there. Glad to have that for the program, and hopefully it's a first trip of many here over the next few years.
Yeah, Wichita State with Chris Lamb. I mean, they've always been in the discussion. He's always been impressive. Anytime I've talked to him, anytime I've been around that program, just really impressive. They won the NIT of volleyball a year ago. SMU is a team that could be playing in the Final Four as well. That's a really, really good team. So no shame in the way that the season ended, and only going to be good for the program going forward.
And I think it was on Bob and Jeff this week when I heard Lamb on there. It was either that or his coach's show on Monday. We talked about how optimistic the future looks and how they feel like they're finally, adjusted now to the scheduling and everything of the AAC. So hopefully a good sign. And KU volleyball plays their opener tonight as well. So their volleyball run, another team, you mentioned the Final Four, that has pretty high aspirations of making some noise this year. So KU volleyball will get that going tonight. So good luck to them. Coming up in our next hour, we will get you some football picks. We have 6 games here 3 college, 3 pro. We're going to make these picks. Should be a lot of fun. It always is. I think Paul won the week last week. Jad's not here with all those receipts, but I'm pretty sure Paul, who's here?
No, I said it's too bad that Jad's not here with the numbers.
I know. We don't have, but I do think as Tommy was keeping track, he let me know that Paul won another week. So Paul's back on track with things, but we're going to make those picks. That's coming up next. Should be a lot of fun. And then we'll get into the college football side of things a little bit in the next hour. That's what we have coming for you next. We got Max Power in here producing for us. We appreciate it, Max. Crestview Country Club right now, getting ready for the holiday season. You should go check it out. Now's a good time. They've got all the decorations going up. It's a little chilly maybe for golf, but a good time to note all the other amenities you can get at Crestview. And you can have non-golf memberships. Just give them a call. Tell them we sent you. We appreciate their support of the program. Ask them about all those memberships. This time of year is a good time of year. It's the holiday season. We're coming right back and making football picks next.
In Odyssey's sports station, this is 97.5 and 1240 KFH, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I pull on my jeans and I feel alright. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Hey, Dad, Mom wants pizza for dinner. You want to run out?
Sure. I need to get gas anyways. Give me a minute.
Cool. Hey, what's that bottle?
It's stable. You just add it to the fuel tank, and it keeps these engines healthy. When you start driving, I'll put some in your car, too.
Which one do I get?
How much money you got?
At every fill-up, or when you store, start with Stable.
When I wake up,
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Today, expect a sunny day with a high of 47.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Refresh your space during Dutch Boy Days at Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boy's DuraClean Interior Paint and Primer in 1 offers Stay Clean technology, making your home stay beautiful and clean longer. With Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, transforming your home has never been easier. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and head into Menards to get your paint project started today.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards. Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you.
If the week's been too hectic to even think about dinner, or your family can't handle one more night of leftovers, then it's
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to hour number 2 of Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you. We've got the full cast here. Tommy will send us his picks in, but we've got TJ and Brandon in on the video stream. We've got a camera down for Paul. Paul is with us, though, so if you're listening, you won't know the difference, but Paul's here. Paul won the week last week. I don't have all the official numbers. I just know Tommy told me Paul won the week last week. So we'll do that. TJ will take a step. But don't act like, TJ, I could see a video game controller in your hand during the commercial break there. TJ acts like he's locked in. He's playing, I'm sure, NCAA football right now. Wake up 9 a.m. Man, what it was like to be young. Miss those days. Miss those days. All right, we got to make some picks here. What we're going to do is we'll take 3 college games. We'll take 3 pro games, and we pick them against the spread. Lines coming as of about an hour ago is when I took these. So we'll have those for you. Paul, you're going to write these down and get them to Jad so he can have the official record keeping of things.
Correct.
But we're going to get right into it here. Paul, you won the week last week, so I'm going to give you the first one. When kind of just in order of kick time, you get the Big 12 first. So we got Iowa State at Arizona, taking on Arizona State. These, of course, all neutral site games. Taking on Arizona State, the Sun Devils 2-point favorites. They are red hot. But I got to tell you, Paul, Iowa State looked pretty dang good against K-State. Where are you leaning on this one?
Well, you know something? I didn't even realize Arizona State was any good till about 2 weeks ago. That's when I started figuring out, well, wait a second. I may have been asleep on this team. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Iowa State. Now, I know that's not the chic pick. I can see Brandon smile over here. He's thinking to himself, this Savage is a rube. I think we can take advantage of him.
I just thought you were going to compliment Arizona State. That's all.
Oh, there you go. Well, no, I'm going to take Iowa State because I'm still not convinced Arizona State's the real deal. I'm taking Iowa State.
Okay. Look, I get it. Iowa State's got the experience. And look, Arizona State is the most surprising. It's one of the most surprising stories in college football. Where were they picked in the Big 12? Was it last?
Way down. Yeah, it was like in the bottom 3 or 4. I mean, it was way down.
They've got some injuries to deal with. They've got an all-world wide receiver that they're down. I love their quarterback. I got to tell you. And Scadabo's still there. And they're more than a one wide receiver team. I'll pick this next. I'll take Arizona State still. We'll see. That's a tough injury to deal with. But, you know, they're going to have a chance here to do this thing. And I'm going to just take them. They're the hottest team in football. Iowa State's a little up and down for me. And I think Arizona State can make a run at this. And whoever wins this Big 12 game, by the way, their path is pretty interesting. if it's a Penn State, Boise State path to then make their way through the playoff, which is what it kind of looks like now. So Paul will go Iowa State. I'll go Arizona State, catching Tommy up, who was able to just hop on. So welcome in, Tommy. Brandon, you're up next, though. Where do you think on this one?
Hey, you said this is more than just a one wide receiver team, but now they are only a one running back team. The second leading receiver behind Jordan Tyson, who is now out for the rest of the year. He had 75 catches, over 1,000 yards. Cam Scatterbo, their running back, is their second leading receiver, 35 catches, 468 yards. They're going to ask him probably to touch the ball 40 times this game. That's Arizona State's only path to a win. I like what Iowa State's doing right now. Give me these Cyclones. And it's going to be a de facto home game. Those Cyclone fans are going to travel well to Dallas.
Yeah, they will. We'll see what Arizona State can do there. We know that the Cyclone fans get crazy. They'll go anywhere. TJ, what do you think in this one?
Iowa State has been, you know how we said that KU was probably the best bad team that we saw all year. Iowa State's probably the worst good team that we saw all year, because every single one of their wins felt like they were going to lose the game and then found a way. I saw somebody say that it was like watching your favorite son run into oncoming traffic by the grace of God, miss every single car. That's what Iowa State's season has been. So I think the luck's going to run out. Give me Arizona State. Scadaboo's going to go for some ungodly number like he does every week. So give me the Sun Devils in their first year in the Big 12 winning it.
Tyson out for the season, we should point out. They're everything on track to get him back next year. Tommy, we got a tie situation here, so you can break the tie.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think that, Arizona State is the kind of team that they have really proven a lot of people wrong in the Big 12 this year. And I love Cam Scatterbo. I think he's been phenomenal all year, obviously. And there's something about Iowa State that, while they've been in the mix this year and they have impressed from time to time, I'm not convinced that they are a Big 12 champion, whereas from watching Arizona State this year, I think that they are. So give me the Sun Devils. I think that they win and they cover.
And the young man, 19 years old, Sam Levitt, all the attention's been on Avery Johnson. Sam Levitt's one heck of a young player, too. We'll see if he can get it done without his top guy. All right, let's go to the next one then, Georgia and Texas. I'll go first this time. Texas, 2.5-point favorites. We know these two teams have a little history together here. I'm going to take Georgia, fellas. I'm just going to take the points. I think Georgia had their moment last week of almost letting down, but I think about that, and then I think about the furious comeback they had to put together. Texas got to prove it in this spot. I'm going to take the Bulldogs just because I'm getting the points. It's not really a calculated reason. I'll tell you that and say that I really hope Texas beats the brakes off of them, but I'm going to take Georgia for the picks. Brandon?
Yeah, I'm just going to take Georgia for the simple fact of they've been here. They have done this. As Paul would say, they have something to play for. What that is, I don't know. They're already in the college football playoff. As far as I'm concerned.
Have you never heard
they have to play
the
for
one thing
pride.
You might need a little more in your life? No, I'm playing with you. But pride, baby. You got pride. We all got pride.
You're not wrong there, though. And if Georgia wins, I think there's a scenario where in a couple weeks or whatever, we get Texas, Georgia for a third time this year. I'm all about chaos. So give me Georgia in the points.
TJ, can Georgia, lose this game and be bumped from the playoff, you think, or are they safe?
Nah, they're safe for sure. The committee loves Georgia, and for good reason. They've kind of beaten the brakes off of a lot of good teams, but in the same breath, they, went to 8 overtimes or whatever the stupid number was that it was. I think that if that Georgia Tech game doesn't exist, this line is a lot, probably in Georgia's favor. I'd say they're probably favored in this game. I was wrong about Texas last week. I thought that they were going to, finally get exposed to Texas A&M, and they didn't. So showed me something about the Longhorns. But, Georgia beat them by whatever it was, 20 in the first half the last time they played. I don't think that was by accident. I think Kirby's got the keys to taking down Sark. So give me the Bulldogs with the points.
Tommy, it was a 15-point win for the Bulldogs the last time they played. Does that matter at all at this point?
No, I don't think it matters one bit. I'm a believer in Steve Sarkisian and Texas. And look, I watched, like the rest of the country did, that 8 overtime game, Georgia Tech, a week ago. And there were multiple times that I was like, man, Georgia Tech is better than Georgia is right now. And I've been a Georgia believer all this year. I feel like they've been overlooked a lot, and I love Kirby Smart. But there's something about what Texas is doing right now in their first year in the SEC. I think they avenged the loss. Give me the Longhorns. I'm going to lay the points. I think that Sark gets it done.
I wish you could see Paul's face right now. Oh my gosh.
Is he not? What's got you up in arms, Paul? We don't have the camera on you today.
Well, Brandon is observant. I thought I was going to have an island. I thought I was going to have a Texas island, an old Southwest Conference island, which is what I was looking for. But obviously, I'm not. Now, listen, is it like it's not like Texas is devoid of talent? You guys are making this sound like that Texas can't play football, that they don't know what they're doing. It's a good football team. This is the University of Texas. This is a good football team. Listen, I think they've learned from their mistakes in the first game. You know, they have a thing called film. Did you know that, Brandon? They have film?
Are they so?
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Trust me, I've watched those too, by the way. But anyway, they've got film. They've been able to go back and figure out what went wrong. I'm taking Texas. I've got a feeling this could be a 10-point game. Texas's way. I'm taking Texas.
I hope you're right. Listen, I hope Georgia loses by 30 and gets bumped out of the playoff. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's what I would like to see happen. I love it. I love it. I do not. I am not one of the Big 12 fans who hopes that Oklahoma and Texas crash and burn. I would love to see the former Big 12 teams dominate the SEC. That's just, I know I'm in the minority on that, but I hope Georgia loses by 1,000. But I'm picking Georgia and the points. All right, let's go on to the next one, and we'll go Penn State, Oregon. Brandon, you're up first with this one. The Ducks 3.5-point favorites.
I just think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and with that, I'm just going to take Penn State and the points. Not a whole lot of confidence in it, especially because I watched Penn State just about lose to the Golden Gophers of Minnesota 2 weeks ago. But just for the sheer fact, I think this is going to be a 2017 kind of game, and I'm just going to ride with the points.
TJ.
I'm going to think this is going to be a high-scoring game. So for that reason, I'm going to pick the Oregon Ducks and completely full fade Brandon here. I think that Penn State is frauds, but with saying that, I don't watch the Big Ten very often. I watched them lose to Ohio State, and it's probably the only Penn State game I've really watched this year. But I've watched Oregon a lot, and they're pretty good. So give me the Ducks. They're going to cover the number.
Tommy, where's Andy Kotelnicki going to get a job next year? You know he's going to be a head coach. It's been a great story.
Yeah, I think he absolutely will be a head coach. If I was North Carolina, I would snatch up Kotelnicki in a heartbeat. I'm not sure that that's going to happen because it sounds like they're talking to Bill Belichick, but that's a totally different conversation entirely from what I read. Look, I think in this game, Penn State clearly has talent, but not at the level that the Oregon Ducks do. And I'm not a major believer in James Franklin. That guy, is a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. And there have been plenty of situations where he has let Penn State down in spots like this. Whereas on the flip side, I think Dan Lanning and Oregon, they're far and away the best team in the country, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Oregon. I feel like this spread could be even bigger, but it's not. I mean, if it was a 5 or 6 point spread, I would still probably take Oregon. Give me the Ducks. I'm going to lay the points. I think that they win.
Paul, can Oregon get over the heartbreak of Lincoln Cure and focus on this football game?
Well, that's a good question. I would assume that this is Oregon. They can recruit anybody they want, and I'm assuming that they're going to look by this. It'll be okay. Listen, here's how confident I am. 3.5 is not enough points. This is how confident I am on myself. And I'm going to tell Jad, I'm imposing a 5.5 on myself. I'm going to go ahead.
The 3.5.
No. I'm so confident on this pick. I'm going 5.5. You guys could, if they win by 4.5, go ahead and mark that. I'm wrong.
I'll take the 5.5 too. Plus 5.5.
Yeah, no, you don't get it, Brandon. You don't get it.
Yeah, no, never. Well, anyway, you get the point. I'm confident in this.
Maybe you know what, Paul? I'm not going to change the number. I'll go ahead and leave it at 3.5, but I am also confident like that in this game.
Yeah, this is like a no-brainer. This is like
which means we're totally going to be wrong, right? We're totally going to be wrong on this because it feels that way. But here's the thing: like we look at what Oregon's. The problem for me with the Big Ten is these teams don't have good wins for the most part. The Big Ten was not good at the bottom of the league. That is not the case for Oregon. Oregon has beaten Boise State, a team that's going to be in the college football playoff. They will have beaten Ohio State, a team that's going to be in the college football playoff. They beat Illinois by 28 points, 20, whatever it is, 29 points, the team that beat Kansas, right? The team that just beat Ohio State at the Horseshoe, they beat by 21 points at Michigan, and then now they'll take their shot at Penn State. Oregon is not the Big Ten team that hasn't played anybody. Oregon has a ton of good wins this year. I do think Oregon is head and shoulders the top team. I think they're gettable in the playoff, but I think they'll win this game against Penn State, and I hope they further expose that league was not nearly as good as it's getting credit for this year. Let's go to the NFL. We'll start with Brandon's Minnesota Vikings. Brandon doesn't get to pick it first, though. Atlanta at Minnesota. Kirk Cousins' revenge game on tap, TJ. And the Falcons and Kirky are getting 5.5 points.
Important question. Is this a primetime game or a noon game?
It's a noon game.
It's a noon game. Give me big Kirko, baby. Kirk Cousins does
Last
not
week was
lose
at noon, too.
He doesn't lose at noon in Minnesota for sure.
That's right. That's right. He's very good in that scenario. Tommy, which side of this you taking?
When you said 5.5 is the number, I didn't know if that was the spread or the over/under on interceptions for Kirk Cousins in this game. I mean, hey, look, I'm telling it like it is from the way that Cousins played a week ago. That was one of the worst performances that I've seen from Kirk Cousins, and it really had me question whether or not he still has it, if he can still, move forward. And I would imagine that there have probably been even preliminary conversations in the Falcons building about, man, is this going to keep going this way? If so, should we start to get Michael Penix Jr. ready to go? What is that going to look like? I think the Vikings win this game. I think they easily cover. I'm not sure that Cousins will have as abysmal of a performance as he had a week ago, but I still don't think it's going to be good enough to win, and I don't think he's going to cover either. So give me the Falcons, give me the Vikings, and I'll lay those points.
Paul, what do you think here?
This is the easiest pro pick of the day, and everything that Tommy said is right. Everything that TJ said is right. I don't care what time this game starts. It's still going to be Minnesota. I would take Minnesota.
Take the alt spread. Take the alt spread.
No, this is fine, but I'm going to take this is going to be the easiest pick on the pro side. I'm taking Minnesota.
So Kirk Cousins in his last 3 games has no touchdowns and 6 interceptions, right? The 2 games prior to that, he had 7 touchdowns and no interceptions. He was near perfect in the 2 games before that. It's been boom or bust for Kirk Cousins this year. Like, there is not an in-between for him this season. So it's like, for me, it's does Kirk Cousins give them one of his good games or one of his bad games? That's obviously what it's going to come down to. But they still have Bijan Robinson. I'm excited to see the Vikings prove it here and beat what I think Atlanta's a pretty good team. I'm going to take the points, though. 5.5 points. I have a feeling Kirk Cousins will show up in this game. Whether or not that's enough to win the game on the road, I don't think he's going to give them a dud game. And for that reason, I'll take the 5.5 points, just because I feel like that's too many points for a team like Atlanta to be getting in a game like this. All right, Brandon, stage is yours for your Vikings.
I was going to wear my Justin Jefferson jersey on air,
of course,
today. Kirk Cousins, he is the opposite of mobile right now, and Brian Flores' defensive line is the definition of get after your quarterback. Jonathan Grenard was the NFC Defensive Player of the Month. Andrew Van Ginkel is probably going to pick off a pass on the edge and return it for a pick 6. I don't think this game is even going to be close. Give me the Vikings in a rout. And why is this a revenge game for Kirk Cousins? He got $180 million from the Falcons. That's working out.
Yeah, they didn't want him.
That's
Minnesota didn't want him. That's
$40 million. He wanted $50 million.
You like that baby? This feels like you like that baby moment for Kirk Cousins. It really does. Like everybody's dogging on him. He's not. He's had a few bad games in a row. The Vikings play. You know this, Brandon. The Vikings play a ton of close games. They've played worse teams than the Falcons, closer than 5.5. That's the only thing for me is 5. I was surprised that the line was that big. That's why I put it on here, because I thought it was a tricky line. But 5.5 points, that's a lot of points for a Vikings team that plays a lot of close games. All right, let's go Seattle at Arizona. This one, somebody's got to win the NFC West, fellas. Like, somebody's got to win it. Tommy, the Seahawks go on the road. They get 2.5 points. I don't know. This one's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see where everybody lands with this game, because I don't have a clue.
Well, I hate this game. I mean, for a variety of reasons.
That's why I put it on here.
And it's not even that I necessarily hate the spread. I just hate the game, because I feel like nobody in the NFC West even really wants to win the division. I mean, because it just has been ugly basically by every team, but especially these two teams that are playing, with Arizona and Seattle. Kyler Murray, I feel like has improved somewhat this year, but he's still. I'm not sure that it's done enough. He's done enough to be able to get the Cardinals to the next level. Although, I do think that Jonathan Gannon is slowly but surely turning the fortunes around for the Cardinals. That being said, though, man, I don't know. I think that if I have to pick somebody, obviously I do. I'm just going to kind of do a dart throw here. I'm just going to say Seattle. Give me Seattle to cover in this game. And it's really not that I am super confident in Seattle. I just don't really, I'm not super confident in Arizona. So, yeah, I guess give me Seattle in this game.
Oh, Seattle. Look, Seattle's won 3 in a row. Arizona's lost 2 in a row. Paul, is that enough for you to just take Seattle?
Well, I'm about to say something a guy on the radio shouldn't say. It is, I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't either. This is a brutal game.
This is a game that I really don't have a feel for. I'm trying to figure out something on this to give me a reason for one of these teams to win this game or cover or not cover or whatever. I'm not sure what it is. So when you're in doubt, go with the home team. I can't think of anything. I don't have any other reason to take Arizona other than the fact they're the home team. That sounds crazy, but I don't know.
As good a reason as any this week.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy to me to look at it that way. They have, Arizona lost to Seattle in Seattle by 10 points in a game that probably sounds a lot like us trying to pick a 16-6. You kidding me? It's not a long trip for Seattle, and they are the hot team right now. But in the interest of that division being so crazy and dumb and chaos, I'll just take the chaos scenario of the home team. I mean, I'll take Arizona for that same reason Paul does. Like, it just feels like that's the way the NFC West is going to go. I'm not going to bet this game. This isn't real money. These are just the picks. This may be my least favorite game to try to decipher this week. But I do think it'll be a fun game to watch. Brandon, where are you at with this one? So, but just for the record, Paul, I'm taking Arizona.
Gotcha.
I'll just take the home team as well. This game stinks. I was looking through both schedules, trying to find a reason to pick against both, and I have all the reasons in the world to pick against both. So, just give me. Hopefully, Arizona can cover a field goal, and we'll be talking about a green next.
TJ, you going to give Tommy that island?
I just want to know that since we're picking this game, does that mean that we actually have to watch this? Because this does not seem like a football game.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Give me the Seahawks. They've won 3 in a row, and they're getting points. And that's the only thing I got in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I put that one in there just because it's a ridiculous game to try and
that
figure.
was thin, wasn't it? Boy, we all were.
Look, division like the division leads on the line. It's one of the biggest games of the week. They get implication wise. It's a huge game, right. But this division. We just don't know anything about any of them. All right, let's go to the Chargers and the Chiefs here, fellas. We will be at. I think we're back to Paul starting things off for the Chargers and the Chiefs. The Chiefs laying 4 points at home, Paul. They're not beating anybody by more than a field goal lately.
I guess my first question is, first of all, is Taylor going to be there? Does anybody know, is Taylor going to be there?
I would guess. I would guess yes. For this weekend.
Oh, so she can't
in
be
Canada.
there.
I don't think she'll be there.
Darn it. Well, with that being said, okay, now I will take the Kansas City Chiefs. If Taylor's not there and not a distraction, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Okay. I'm next. I think this is the game they run the ball. I think this is the game that they finally do what they should have been doing and wipe their hands the last 4 weeks when they've abandoned the run. I think that they have to. They have to. We'll see if Humphreys plays. I'm going to take the Chiefs very reluctantly because I think they'll run the ball. But, man, I've reserved my right to change my mind on that too, because I went into this week thinking I'm taking the Chargers +4 all day, every day. No doubt about it. Easy pick. But I do think the Chiefs are going to run the ball. I think Andy Reid's feeling it a little bit this week, and he'll commit to it, and that will help them do what they're supposed to do. Brandon?
Yes, Paul, and just for the record, she is playing in Vancouver tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. So,
well, now I'm confident. Research. I'm confident on my pick now.
I'm gonna say I'm riding with you. Then you're confident. Yeah, I just think this is the week that the Chiefs are gonna get back to their identity. The Chargers have fumbled a little bit down the stretch, just not looking like the team they were maybe about a month ago. Just something doesn't feel right about them coming into this week. I think that the Chiefs are ready to start clicking on all cylinders, which means they're probably going to lose, but give me the Chiefs at home.
Well, look, they don't have J.K. Dobbins, and I think that's being overlooked. J.K. Dobbins has been really good for them, and he's not going to be there the rest of the way.
Well.
Yeah, we don't know on that. That's the other reason, by the way. I'm glad you said that. That's the other reason I'm taking the Chiefs now and reserve my right to change my mind. If Vlad McConkey plays, I might change my mind. I don't know if I will, but it would certainly make me think about it. TJ, where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I said yesterday that I think that the Chiefs, especially if they can get Humphreys in there to play, this feels like it would just be a true Chiefs fashion to make one little tweak, like bringing in Kareem Hunt and just having the offense roll. If they bring in DJ Humphreys, maybe Mahomes is more comfortable in the pocket. We finally get a Chiefs explosion on offense that we've been waiting for 2.5 years or whatever it's been since they've actually blown a team out. I think that they could finally see it this week, especially with the injuries to the Chargers, like you said. This feels like Vegas is reacting and making this a smaller line than it probably should be, in my opinion. So I'm going to take advantage of it. Give me the Chiefs -4.
Tommy, you know who's not injured? Bosa. And you know who's practicing in full? Khalil Mack. Both of those guys look like they're ready to roll in this game. You've got a chance at a Chargers Island here in a game that I think by the time the game ended against the Raiders and you looked and you saw a 4-point line, you're like, oh, Chargers all day. We've all talked ourselves into the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are only a few things that are given in this life. That's death, taxes, and everybody thinking this will be the week that the Chiefs turn things around. I mean, people say that every week, like this is going to be the week that they figure things out. It's not going to be the week that they figure things out. This team is this team. And, can they win? I mean, sure, absolutely they can win. But to all of a sudden just have this magic epiphany that it's all going to click finally. We'll be saying the same thing a week from now, 2 weeks from now, into the playoffs. They find ways to win. That's what they do. But in this game, man, give me that Chargers Island. And I was going to pick the Chargers even before any of you guys made your picks. I just think that, if I can get those points with Jim Harbaugh, with Justin Herbert, with, you mentioned Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, I think it's going to come down to just a couple of points. The way that it's been most of this year, the Chiefs do not cover. They have not done that lately. It's going to be another super close game in primetime. Wouldn't be shocked to see the Chiefs win, but give me the Chargers to cover.
To that point, it's not like the Chiefs, though, have to change. They just have to change what they've done the last month. Not all, and I'm talking just running the ball. They were running the ball up until the last month. Every game they ran the ball, and they didn't have Isaiah Pacheco. That's what I mean by they got to get back to what they.
Why didn't they do that last week then?
I don't
because they
know.
Have Pacheco back.
That's the great question. I don't know. It's been the last 4 games they've stopped. They've cut their run attempts in half. It doesn't make any sense. Andy Reid says this week it's because they were stacking the box. It's like, who cares if they're stacking the box? Run it anyway, right? And so that's what I mean. And he kind of chuckled when he was asked about it. I just feel like there's going to be a point in this game. And, of course, the Chargers have a good enough offense to take that run away from the Chiefs. But I think we'll see a bigger commitment to the run. And if we don't, then Andy Reid needs to keep answering those tough questions as to why. But that's it. 6 games. There they are. They're all there for you. Pretty good. We're going to have a little movement in the standings probably this week. Tommy, enjoy the vacation there. Looks like you got a nice spread there behind you. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, we're I've got the family all loaded up. We're enjoying a little good old fashioned Christmas family road trip.
There you go.
Boy, good for you.
Love that.
Doesn't get any better. Hopefully nobody's pooped their pants, you included. But that
no comment on that.
Nothing derails a vacation like a loaded diaper or loaded pair of underwear. So be safe out there. TJ, get back to your video games.
Currently got Wichita State down by 16 to UAB. We got to fight back in the second half.
Okay, and that's in football. TJ's added shocker football back to the program. All right, we'll do that. Brandon, Paul, and I will finish out the hour here. We're going to take a quick break. Appreciate everybody for sticking with us here. We'll get to some viewer comments there. Rick's lobbing grenades at us. We'll get to that when we return. Sports Daily on a Friday. Don't go away.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Having family at home for the holidays is quick. Can handle is critical. Trust the experts at Superior Plumbing to.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
welcome back in, everybody. The IHOP hotline back open for you the rest of the way at 869-1240, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, and reward offers for loyalty members. I'm glad to have you back with us. Brandon Zenner in for Tommy today. Paul sticks around as he does on Fridays to take us the rest of the way through hour number 2. I want to talk college football here, fellas, because we have an interesting championship weekend, right? Nobody knows or knew how this would all play out in year 1 of this expanded playoff. You had detractors saying it will take away from the regular season. It has absolutely not done that. That is an incorrect take. It is added to the regular season. However, and I say that as somebody who's been an advocate for this for a long, long time, we get a championship weekend where several of the games don't matter a ton. Now, they will matter in like the home field and the buys, and there are plenty of reasons to win. But as we look at the SEC championship game, almost certainly both of those teams are getting in regardless of the outcome. You look at the Big Ten championship game, and almost certainly both of those teams are getting in regardless of the outcome. And I don't have a problem with either of those things, right? I don't want to punish a team for reaching a conference championship game versus their peers. But it's kind of split because you've got those two that don't mean anything. And then you've got basically a Big 12 championship game that's going to be an entry game. You've got a Mountain West championship game that's going to be an entry game, and probably an ACC championship game that'll be an entry game. The biggest question for, I think, championship weekend is, can SMU lose and still reach the college football playoff? So, Brandon, as we look at it now, we're a year into this. Do you feel like we've lost anything by a 12-team playoff? I think the counter is, well, what if this was a 4-team playoff, right? We'd still have this sort of thing happening where some of these games don't really mean anything. I would contend that it's added to championship weekend to expand the playoff.
Oh, when it was a 4-team playoff, we talked about 1 or 2 teams getting left out. Was it Alabama getting left out? How we leave them out? Florida State?
I just mean as it pertains to championship weekend, though, right? Like you'd still, in a 14 playoff, you'd have the Big Ten and the SEC championship games certainly mean something because the losers may not make it in, but not necessarily. I just like, this is so much more normal, right? It just feels more normal for what it is.
Oh, and now the great part is all the talk, most of it is on these teams that aren't even playing this weekend. Does a Ole Miss deserve to get in over an Alabama or a South Carolina? Or what about a BYU's getting left out? How are they with their resume? You have all these coaches going back and forth on Twitter, Brett Bielema and Lane Kiffin, all these guys. It has just been an absolute blast. But yeah, it is intriguing to see. Yeah, we now have play-in games for it feels like some like conference championship basketball. One of these teams are going to win, and they are going to guarantee their spot in. It's going to be a blast. I have not been as excited for a conference championship weekend as I have in a blast in a long time, especially like a game like tonight. Boise State, they win and they're in. They lose and they're out. Can UNLV play their way in? It's just going to be fascinating.
Well, and not only that, Brandon's onto something there. I think this is going to be an underdog deal. I like this because there's going to be some teams we don't expect to win who are going to win. And I think you kind of mentioned it, UNLV. I wouldn't look by UNLV if I was in. They can get in. And by the way, so how does that spell for Iowa State? Let's say Iowa State wins their game against Arizona State. They match up with UNLV. UNLV beats Boise State. Now you got Sin City versus an agricultural school. I love that contrast. That's beautiful. But I'll tell you what, right now, the Big 12 is the one that's set up for the best run because you've got the winner of
if that's the way it stays. I mean, the bracket could change.
The way it stays. Well, I'm going by what we know right now. Just right now, if it stays like that, this is going to be interesting. But with that being said, I don't know. I think Penn State and Oregon is that one game in those majors that I think I can fairly well predict who's going to win that game. I really think Oregon's going to advance, and I don't know, depending on how big the gap is in the victory. Does that mean that we keep Penn State? Because I still, I've seen Penn State
3 in the polls. I don't see them falling out.
All right, well, I got you, but I mean, I'm still not convinced they're as good a team as we all think they are.
You're not wrong about that, but they'll get in. So here's a scenario that I think is fascinating, and I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this. and I'm really intrigued by it. What if we see what if UNLV beats Boise State? And then what if Army wins, fellas? Because, like, if you look at resume to resume, UNLV to Army, I'm not sure that I don't think Army has a better resume. Army has been, they lost to Notre Dame and they lost big, but man, they have been crushing people this year. For like in almost every other game. They had a couple of close games in there that'll probably keep them out, but we're going to have that discussion. If you've got UNLV in with 2 losses, and I know they're ahead of them right now in the AP standings, and then Army wins the AAC, that's a fascinating one. That's what I love about this 12-team format. Now, they both shouldn't be in, so you'll have to get to the bottom of it there. But that's an interesting one to watch for sure, as we make our way through year number 1 on this. These kinds of storylines are all over the place, and I do think that makes it fun. I'm going to propose something right now to both of you that I think could solve a lot of what we're dealing with the Big Ten being top heavy and like Indiana, for instance, not playing anybody. I'd much rather see Army win the AAC. Well, no, that's not what I'm going to propose.
Okay.
Although I think that would help, and then you just add the AAC and the Mountain West champions to the mix. I'd be okay with that, actually. But this is my proposal for you. Get rid of the cupcake games. We can get, each team can have 1. Like, you get 1. Alabama, sorry, you don't get to play Mercer in like week 10. Doesn't happen anymore. We get rid of all of those. Okay. You can keep 1 tune up, basically preseason game. And we have a playoff in each league. So like a 4-team playoff. You could even do 8 if you wanted to, but what you do at the end of the season, you play out a regular season schedule, and then you play basically a conference tournament. And you've got room for it because you don't play the cupcake games. Even if you just added 2, even if you just made it a 2-game playoff, right? If you eliminated 2 cupcakes, you could have an 8-game playoff because we're already playing a championship game anyway. You take the top 8 teams, they play it through. That would prevent what's happening with Indiana. That would, because it would force teams that maybe got lucky or unlucky with their schedule to get good games at the end of the year to further prove their case that they belong in there. What do you think about that idea?
The idea that I like even better. Do it how the NFL does it. You play other divisions based off your finish in your division. So say you take the finish of the Big Ten this year. You win the Big Ten, you play the champion from the SEC the next year, the champion from the Big 12 the next year. I think that would be fascinating to do. I know
that'd be my only problem is roster turnover. That'd be my only issue.
But there's roster turnover in the NFL as well, and we love it. That way, you get your 1 cupcake game, you get your 8 divisional, your 8 conference games, and then you're gonna if you're the best team in the Big 12, go prove it against the best in the SEC the next year, the best in the Big 10 the next year, and if someone rises up like an Arizona State, so be it.
I'm not so sure it's a bad idea. In fact, I kind of like your take on that, Jacob. And here's part of the reason why, Brandon, is because I think, and maybe I'm wrong on this, maybe I'm analyzing it wrong, but I think I can see teams that are deserving to go. And we just talked about an Army. I'd 10 times rather see Army playing this thing than Indiana.
Yes.
No offense to Indiana.
You and Jacob both.
No offense to them. It's a fine university. It's a really good football team. But I have no interest in watching them play. I'm sorry. Jacob's right. They played a cupcake schedule, and it's not a lot of that's not their fault. That's just the way, it's just the way the dice land. You draw who you got and you play them, and they tell you who you play, and that's who you play. But I like the fact that it would give some of these Cinderella teams a chance to play teams that, how long will it be before Army's this good again? Well, we never know. For year to year, Army's and those can have great teams. You lose a couple of seniors, and boom, you're back to where you started. So I like the idea because it gives the matchup to teams that wouldn't normally have the chance. The downside, though, Jacob, would be, some teams play 2 or 3 cupcakes. Well, if you live in the world of cupcakes, you need all the opportunity.
You need that money.
You need that money because, the reason Wolford, as you brought up, goes and plays Ohio State is because they're going to get about a $400,000 to $500,000 payday.
Yeah,
At least, guess what? That's half their football budget right there. That's half of how they pay for their coaches and the program and all that. So you're going to cut back on some money going to cupcakes.
I get it. I get it. And I want to be clear that I genuinely do have sympathy for that stuff, but we have to best determine our champion. And like, we just have to. And we're getting there. But I tell, like, Indiana, let's just take Indiana as the case study here. Instead of playing FIU and Western Illinois to start the season, okay? And you can even cut back if you want to keep the option to, get some of those bye games. Don't play as many conference games, but play this conference tournament, because what you would have had in the Big Ten this year, if you had 4 teams play through, you would have had the 4 teams that are actually good in the conference, which is Oregon, Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State. They played through a little postseason. And what would have happened, I think, is Indiana would have been exposed again, just like the only good game they played on their schedule. They're not getting into the playoff if that happens. If you want to take it to 8, which I think you could do if you eliminate 2 games, right, is you would have had Oregon, Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, and Minnesota, all teams that won 5 games in the league, play through a postseason, play through a little mini tournament. And if they, you just eliminate, you've got enough games in the Big 12. K-State would have been the 8th team in this year, right? Leaves their chances open, to make it through, which is one aspect of it. And the Big 12 didn't have this issue this year because the conference was so deep, but it does force teams to play good games at the end of the year. And it eliminates this issue we have because we don't know. Nobody knew Indiana was going to play a weak schedule before the season started. That's not Indiana's fault, right? But they didn't schedule anybody across another league that's relevant. That's their fault. So you just take that away. I'm going to start advocating for it because I think it's a good idea. The other solution, which you mentioned quickly there, Brandon, was 16 teams. And the only reason 16, and I don't think we need to do that yet, not for a while, let's see 12, is because you could add in that scenario, you could throw the Mountain West and the AAC a bone to just basically guarantee the 6 conference champions of relevant college football conferences. And that's okay too, but we don't need to do that yet. This is sort of an outlier year and it's fine because if Boise wins, they're clearly that team this is designed for. But man, it just bugs me that good leagues are going to be punished by having a good deep league.
Do we think we ever get to a point where these conference championships are going on and then these teams that don't play for conference championships, instead of benefiting from not playing in a conference championship where they have to play somebody else? Because
that would also help, right? That would help
a lot
greatly.
of teams that are benefiting from not playing this week. Alabama, Tennessee, just to name a couple, and Indiana as well. Wouldn't you love to see? It's not a conference championship game, but
third place game,
playing game against an Ole Miss. That'll be
play a third place game, yeah. Or even within the conference, you could do it. But yeah, you don't tell me you want to see Indiana play Colorado.
I'd be more interested in that than watching Iowa State, Arizona State, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, you can do these things again. You'd have to eliminate, but you don't have to. Like we baby Division I football players. Like, oh, they can't play. So it's too many games. It's too many games. They can't do that. Paul, you've coached at you coached at Friends. Your Friends was going to have to win something like 6 extra games to win the championship. Like in Division II, you enter a 32-team postseason. Like, give me a break. Like, we don't need to baby. Nobody has it. Like, they fly to their games. Come on now. They fly to their games. They're compensated now. We can add a few games to make this the best formula to find a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And again, year 1 of the 12 team. I'm just so happy we have it. I'm so happy we have it.
Right.
But we do. All right. We're long here. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll have one more segment for you before we get to the end of the show. Stick with us. It's Albrecht, it's Zenner, it's Savage on a Friday. Don't go away.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Has there ever been a better combo than gaming and delicious food? At IHOP, We don't think so. Which is why we're announcing that IHOP is the official breakfast partner of Xbox. Come in and try our decadent new fully loaded French toast, stacked high with delicious toppings and stuffed with creamy filling. And get access to exclusive Xbox merch. Only at IHOP. Let's put a smile on your plate. For a limited time at participating restaurants.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride. Fabrice.
Fabric Talk. Hey,
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12
has established a relief hotline for you to...
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods.
All right, everybody here. We welcome you back in. It's Jake Ballbrock. It's Brandon Zenner. It's Paul Savage. Max Power producing. Real quick, fellas, college basketball weekend. We got just a couple of minutes. Just catch everybody up. Tomorrow, the big one is K-State against St. John's. Brandon, we had Wyatt Thompson in early in the week, talked about how physical St. John's looks, how athletic they look. The metrics love them. This is going to be a really good stylistic challenge for K-State on the road this weekend.
Yeah, when you talk about aggressive basketball, that's kind of the opposite of what you think with K-State right now, where they're finesse, trying to get up a bunch of threes. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to learn a lot about this team. Anytime you go up against a Rick Pitino, you're going to learn about your team. And I think Jerome Tang, they have a chance to make a positive stride here. We're now they're going to get the Shockers as the next week, and then we're into the final month of non-con.
21. It's 2 weeks. Paul, the Shockers, speaking of East Tennessee State, they handled their business. They bounced back fine against Florida. 24-point winners. Kind of want to see the same sort of thing here, right?
Well, now let's not get ahead of ourselves because, Eastern Tennessee was not a very good basketball team. In fact, some have said it's the worst team.
No, that was Alcorn. Alcorn was the worst. East Tennessee's not as bad as Alcorn.
Yeah, they're not as. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up there. But anyway, you want to see. I'm ready to see this team get to conference. I'm ready to see them start playing some AAC games. I want to see them do well. I'm glad they got a good victory. We talked about the confidence that beating Minnesota would, even though Minnesota wasn't the greatest of teams out of the Big Ten. It was good for confidence-wise to get a win over a Division I power type school. So, I think the Shockers are ready to play. I think they've got a lot accomplished what they want. The K-State game will make a big statement. Let's see how they play. We'll know just I really feel we'll have a better feel for just how well will Wichita State fare in the AAC when they play K-State. I think we'll get a great idea as to how good this team really is.
East Tennessee's not that far off from Minnesota, by the way, in the Ken Palm. Just so everybody knows, they're not. They're a pretty good team.
100 into that.
Yeah, and then KU plays Missouri on Sunday. It's a weird Sunday noon tip, obviously, with rivalry implications there. So big college basketball weekend. We'll have you apprised of it all on Monday. We're going to tell you what else is on the networks for us this weekend when we wrap up Sports Daily next.
Patterson Legal is the way to go. Call 550-0000.
Save big money and update your home for the holidays with
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Great Friday, everybody. Real quick, tonight you've got Butler basketball, 7:30. Then tomorrow you'll get both of those basketball games we were just talking about. K-State, pregame coverage begins at 10 a.m. Shockers, pregame coverage begins at 5:30. The K-State game on KFH, Shockers on KEYN. Then on Sunday, you get the Chiefs broadcast on KNSS starting at 6 o'clock. You get national coverage with Westwood One right here on KFH. That starts at 6:30. Brandon, Paul, thanks, fellas.
Had fun, big boy.
Great Friday.
Max, thanks for stepping in this week for Jad. We'll see everybody Monday.
Max.